Today we're jumping into a time machine to check out the last words of some history-famous leaders, from Cleopatra to Adolf, including Che Guevara, Napoleon, Genghis Khan, John F. Kennedy, Winston Churchill, and much more. These were their last shocking words that you won't believe. Hold on to your seats because we're about to uncover their last shocking words. And guess what? It's a total game changer. Some asked to die, while others were super polite until their very last second. Can you believe it? Let's roll back the years and find out. Starting with Vladimir Lenin, his final words were, "Good dog." He said this to a dog that brought him a dead bird. Moments later, he passed away because of a cerebral hemorrhage. As Che Guevara faced the soldier ordered to end his life, Sergeant Jaime Tirán, his last words carried a profound acknowledgement. "I know you've come to kill me," he said. "Shoot, you are only going to kill a man." Tirán fired, striking Guevara in the arms, legs, and thorax. In his final days, Stalin trusted no one, even suspected his personal doctors, many of whom he had arrested. "I'm finished," he declared. "I don't even trust myself." As the new wave of terror escalated, Stalin suffered a stroke. For several days, his personal staff, too fearful to approach, left him to face the consequences alone. Napoleon's last words before dying are reported to be, "France, the army, head of the army, Josephine." He basically expressed everything he held dear: his country, his military career, and his first wife, Josephine. When Julius Caesar was stabbed by a group of Roman senators, he saw his trusted friend Marcus Brutus present among the assailants. His last words were, "Et tu, Brut?" which means, "You too, Brutus." According to legend, Genghis Khan's last words to a few faithful followers were, "I have conquered for you a large empire, but my life was too short to take the whole world, that I leave to you." Genghis Khan died without having achieved what he believed was his destiny, to conquer the entire world. In the years after his death, his sons carried out his wish, doubling the size of the empire. They returned to Europe and invaded Russia, Poland, and Hungary. But in 1242, approaching Vienna, the new Khan died. Mongol law decreed that all chiefs return to elect a new leader, and Europe was spared the Mongol terror. Winston Churchill's final words were, "I'm bored with it all," before slipping into a coma. He passed away 9 days later. Rome's first and arguably greatest emperor, Augustus, last words to those gathered around his deathbed were, "Have I played the part well? Then applaud as I exit." During the peak of the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette faced charges of treason and received a guillotine sentence. On the scaffold, she unintentionally stepped on her executioner's foot, offering a final respectful apology that became her last words. "Pardon me, sir. I meant not to do it." Moments later, he proceeded to chop off her head. Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, lived and died unmarried and childless. It's said her last words were, "All my possessions for one moment of time." Whether true or not, it reflects a powerful sentiment, a reminder to value the present, acknowledging that our time is uncertain and urging us to make the most of every moment. George Washington, the first American president, awoke one day feeling terribly ill, struggling to breathe and speak on his own. As the day progressed, Washington knew he was dying and requested his will. His final words were, "I am just going, have me decently buried, and do not let my body be put into the vault less than 3 days after I am dead." Then he affirmed, "Do you understand me? 'Tis well." Alexander the Great fell seriously ill and was asked by his generals, who shall his vast empire belong to after his death? Alexander replied, "To the strongest." This triggered a war amongst his generals which lasted for 50 years. On November 22, 1963, John F. Kennedy had no way of knowing what was about to happen. Although it was initially reported that his final words were, "My God, I've been hit," but physicians have said this was impossible due to Kennedy's injuries. Historians have now clarified that the last words spoken before the fatal shot were, "No, you certainly can't." These words were part of a small-talk conversation in the car, where Kennedy remarked, "You certainly can't say that the people of Dallas haven't given you a nice welcome." Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States, known for his experiments with electricity, leading to the invention of the lightning rod. His wisdom is immortalized in his famous sayings, such as, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." Franklin's legacy is deeply ingrained in American history, and he remains an enduring symbol of innovation and diplomacy. Reportedly, Franklin's last words were, "A dying man can do nothing easily." Unfortunately, we do not have a definitive account of Cleopatra's final moments or any record of her last words. However, Livy, a Roman historian, recounts her last few words being, "I will not be at the front of a triumph." This refers to Cleopatra's repulsion at the thought of her being forced to parade in a Roman triumphal procession and get insulted by the general public. Adolf's final words, before he killed himself in Berlin, have allegedly been exposed in the personal diary of Lieutenant General Hans Bauer, one of Adolf's most trusted pilots. The pilot said Adolf told him, "I'm ending it today," before killing himself moments later, alongside his wife, Eva Braun.